right, so full disclosure, I have not trained a dog for Totverbellen before attempting to film this series. I thought it would be fun to try this new type of training and to use Enzo as my model as to how I was going to try progressing through this. But what that means is that I'm learning as I go, and I'm learning that some of the things that I attempted I should have done differently. So for instance, when we started all this training, I would just lay down a deer hide on the floor and have Enzo bark, and then he would get his meal. But what I have found out as we're trying to progress through these next levels of training is that if I don't have the food right there on the hide, he tends to leave the hide and come back to me. Whereas if I keep the food there, he will not leave the hide. And of course, on test day, he needs to remain in contact with that carcass at the end of the blood track. So I don't want to always have a milk crate there to weight it down. So what I found is that instead of using a full hide, I should use a weighted hide. So here is what I've recently switched to in training. So it still obviously has the deer hide attached. Actually, I kind of like the little bit of vertical structure there. It makes it look more like a carcass. And it is weighted, so he can't dig under it. So what I did is I just went and purchased a pop crate, just a wooden pop crate that I found somebody selling online. It's heavier wood, so it's something he can't easily dig through. And then I just draped the deer hide over it, and we just tied it on with a few pieces of string. I like this pop crate because it's 4 inches deep, so it still easily fits my dog food dish. It's got the handles, so it's easy for me to carry. And I didn't want to permanently attach the deer hide because I'll use this for training for other purposes in the future. So for now, just having it tied on its string works. So now when I go to feed him, I'll put food in his dish, set it down, and then I can just cover it with this. That way the food is right there. It keeps Enzo right at the hide site where he needs to be. And it's covered with that deer hide so he knows when he finds this that he needs to stay here and bark. So I'm not going to go through and delete and refilm all my videos that I've had so far because I think they show really accurately, every step that we've worked through with Enzo up to this point. But for those of you that are starting with Totverbellen training with your dogs, I would recommend you start with this right away as opposed to going through the milk crate and then trying to transition away and hiding food elsewhere. Let's just keep it here, and this is what I'll be using in the future for training.